Hi, Stampers. Diane Davis here with DDStamps.com. Coming from Red Lodge, Montana. I hope that everybody is doing great tonight. It has been kind of a crazy, busy week. I got back from Mexico on Saturday night and have kind of hit the ground running since. So, how's everybody out there doing? I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, why don't you pop a comment in? I think the only place that I can actually see comments tonight is on YouTube. So if you're on my website blog, go ahead and you can stay there. That's fine. That's not a problem. But if you want to comment, you can go ahead and click the YouTube icon in the video screen and it'll take you to YouTube, and I guess you can comment there. So I would love it if people would let me know if you can hear and see me. I'm getting some thumbs up, so I'm assuming that means yes. That's great. So the new catalog went live while I was down in Mexico, so I can finally show the inside. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Marie. Mary Ellen, thank you. Jean, great. Good. I'm glad to hear people can hear and see me. That's great. Because you never know. Anyway, the new catalog went live. So I hope that you got one. If you don't have one and you don't have a demonstrator and you want a catalog, send me an email. Let me know and I will get one out to you. I did send them out to my customers, and I think everybody. Hey, Jana, thanks for the message, coming in loud and clear. Good. So anyway, if you need a catalog, you don't have one, let me know, and I will make sure that I get one out to you. Today was a busy day. So every day I've been back from Mexico, it has snowed, which is not unusual this time of year in Red Lodge. You know, the ski area closed in April, and then we usually get our worst storms after that. We haven't had a terrible storm, but we've had snow every single day. Now tomorrow they tell me it's supposed to be warm over the weekend. So I figure my grass needs to be cut right now, which is unusual. I figure it gets warm for a day or two and I'm going to be mowing through thick, heavy, wet grass. So we'll see. I've got a lot to show tonight. I'm happy with the projects that I came up with, because you never know. This was a request from somebody, sent me an email asking me to give information about blends. So I'm not a professional blends marker colorer, but I do like to play with them and I like to color with them. And I just want people to realize that it's not that complicated and it's not that hard and anybody can do it. So that's what I'm here to show you tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm looking for my dog because, of course, 30 seconds before I go live, she decides she needs to go outside. And I just want to make sure she's not irritating the neighbors. So, okay, I'm going to switch over to my desk camera. And I wanted to show you this little hummingbird that I got. So when we go to these events with Stampin' Up, this is so cute. This is like my favorite thing that I got there. When we go to these events with Stampin' Up, they give us gifts. And this time when we checked into the hotel, then we got to go like on a little shopping spree. And they had little various table setup, booth setup that you could go to each one and pick something. And one of the very first ones, first you picked a bag, was to pick your spirit animal. And they had them all in these cute little bags. And it was like a cart full of them. And you were supposed to just close your eyes and pick one. And then that was your spirit animal. And I couldn't be happier. I'm a hummingbird. My spirit animal is a hummingbird. It's really cute. And I just kind of chuckle when I see what it meant. So that as a totem animal, the hummingbird symbolizes joy, freedom, perseverance, creativity, love, and healing. It encourages us to live in the moment, to be open to change, to pursue our dreams with optimism. Its small size and ability to fly in all directions represents flexibility and freedom. And I thought, well, that's kind of fitting for me, I think. And so needless to say, when we were down in Mexico, I did things I didn't think I would do. Things like zip lining, cliff jumping, kayaking, just a whole bunch of stuff. The kids and I had a great time. There was some stuff. There's some parks down there so this resort was a big resort, and then it had like 5 different parks, and I think we went to 4 of them. I think we only really had one day at the actual resort, but it was a lot of fun. And I came home exhausted, so then I had to get catch some sleep. All right, so I'm just going to show you some cards quickly. So this is from Leanne, and it's just a really cute. See that brick back there? I love that brick embossing folder. And she uses the daisy set and made this card. This one here, it's not my birthday. However, each month, if you're in the top 30 sales in my team, you get a card from my upline. So this was made by Jill Olson, and I just think it's really pretty. It really shows off the in colors, because all this paper is in colors, all of them in there, and then some of that glimmer paper of the in colors, which is so pretty. And this color, I believe, is Petunia Pop. This was to remind me of something too. So those of you who placed an order with me in April, your card kits that you were going to get were these here. There are these here with the in colors. And when I went to place the order, the in color paper is gone, which is not that big a deal. But I went ahead and I ordered this pack of paper because it all has the in colors. It's all the same. And it's going to be fun to see how we can change my cards that look like this into cards that look like this, or with this paper, and see the difference of what they look like. So I'm going to be getting those packets. I don't think I'm actually getting the box until Monday. I'm going to try to get them sent out, and then next week, during this live, we'll do a class, and we'll do the cards we can do them together if you have them. If not, anybody can come. But we'll just see the difference in the two cards and how they turn out different just depending on the paper. And a lot of stuff that I do with Stampin' Up! Is changes with the paper. Just changes the look of everything. So this was another card from Leanne. I just think it's really pretty. And it was using the blends. I kind of wanted to show you what she did. Is she took the darker blend and colored where the shading is and used the lighter blend in the rest. Did the same thing with the leaves. She's got some leaves that are half dark and some that are not. So really just play with them. And you will know. All right, and so then a couple more things I want to go through, and then we'll get to coloring. But I wanted to show this month's tutorial. So this month's tutorial uses why did I not write that down? Uses the Adventurous Sky suite. And so I've used the paper, the stamp sets, the bundle, the die cuts, and everything. But I wanted to show these. So how my tutorial works for the month is for May, I send you, anybody that places an order with me gets a thank you email with a link to the actual tutorial, which are PDFs of these projects. There's 6 projects this month. If your order is over $50, at the end of the month, I place an order and purchase the stuff to get the kits, and I cut up all the paper, and I send you cardstock, designer series paper, any embellishments that I've used. I think some of these do have embellishments. Yeah. Into a packet of supplies so that you have enough to make. You actually get more usually, but you have enough to make the 6 cards using the PDFs. So I don't send you die cuts or the bundle, because you can always change it up. If you don't have this die set in this bundle, you can always change it. Just use the paper with another stamp set that you have. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, that's kind of how I do it right now. We'll see. I'm taking a few classes and learning a lot from other demonstrators, and I don't foresee this particular part of my business changing, but I might be teaching more classes online. We'll see how my time goes. Anyway, I just wanted to show quickly the cards. This one, I love this one, and I don't know if you can see it on there, but I use Wink Estella. Oh yeah, you can, on the wings, just to give it a little sparkle. A couple of tags with an airplane. I used the blender pen. I think I made some of these in a live a couple of weeks, maybe 2 lives ago, 3 lives ago. This was the one where I used the white colored pencil, watercolor pencil on there, just to shade the clouds in the airplane. Anyway, so this is the tutorial for May. I gotta keep it all straight. All right. One more, oh, and then one more thing here. Well, maybe not. There's several sheets of paper here, so let's just do this quick. Stampin' Up! Has a starter kit special now that is phenomenal. If you decide to become a demonstrator and sign up, you will get $82 of product using like the In Color ink pads, cardstock, markers, designer series paper. So now would be a good time if you ever think about it. It's $99 is what you pay to become a demonstrator. You get $125 worth of product that you can choose out of this catalog, in the online exclusive, the kits, whatever, and then you'll get another $82 in free. So it's over $200 worth of product, and there's no shipping. So just want to mention that. Let me know if you have any questions. Another thing I'm going to mention, and I just put these out here for a reason. The designer series paper in the new catalog, if you notice, they don't really have a page with all of the papers on them. And so I'm doing up some sheets. This is actually for my paper share that I'm getting ready to send out. But I'm going to post these on my website where you can go and you can print them off if you want them. I'll probably do them for like the punches, the dies, maybe the ribbons. I don't know. We'll see. I did get the designer series paper ones done because I'm working on my paper share. If you placed an order for the paper share, I will tell you I spent most of the afternoon today getting that ready. And all it made me want to do was order more paper, which is probably a good thing, right? Because I loved it. I mean, I get to see the paper in real life when I go to, like I went to On Stage a couple months ago, and I got to see all the paper. It's totally different when you're sitting at your desk, sorting through it all, getting to touch it, look at it, feel it. It's just awesome. So those of you who signed up for my paper share, I expect to get that out in the mail probably by Saturday. So watch for that. And those of you who signed up for my In Color Club, I am waiting for another package from Stampin' Up! And I'm going to get that on Monday. So I'll probably get those. I might have them all ready to go, totally ready to go Monday. Yeah, and then when that box comes, I can immediately take it down and ship them out Monday. So paper share goes out probably Saturday. In Color Club goes out Monday. So cool. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Please put them in the comments. I will try to keep tabs on them. If I miss one and it scrolls past me, pop it in again and I'll come back and forth. But I just wanted to show a couple cards. So tonight I'm actually using the stamp set Spotlight on Nature with the dies. And I have to show you these dies because they're very cool. You get a ton. There we go. Anyway, so these are the dies. They're all rings. They all cut out circles. I'm trying to find, I know somewhere here. Oh, here. Here's a couple circles that I had cut out. So these, I don't know if you can see that little edge on there. It's got a little, can you hear it? It's got some little dash lines around it. These are just some extras that I had when I cut out. But these are awesome. So you get that, so this is like the die, cuts out the circle, and then you get the little eyelet looking thing. And these can be layered onto each other and used for many different things. But I'm going to show you some cards that I got. A couple cards that I got in a swap I was in Mexico. So this one here, Be Creative Stamping, she made this card. So you can see the dash lines through the die. So when she cut out, she stamped it, colored it with blends, cut it out with a die, and then put it through an embossing folder. So it has a lot of texture on there. I should probably take it out of the envelope. I didn't want to do that because I don't want to lose who gave it to me. Tammy. I have no idea how to say her last name. So this is Tammy's card. It's got a little bit of designer series paper in there, some of the ribbon, and this looks like some linen thread. So, and then some embellishments. Very pretty card. This is a cool stamp set. You know, you don't think you need another flower stamp set, and then boom, you do. This one here was made by one of our German demonstrators. So when we go to these events, I'm going to have to let her in here in a second. When we go to these events, people from around the world are there, because Stampin' Up! Is around the world. So this was Danny from Germany who made this. She used the blends, and you can see on hers, she colored with the darker blend and the lighter blend. And I'm sure she used Petunia Pop because this is a monochromatic card. And you can just see a little bit of shading down here. I'll show you how she did that. But you don't have to color the whole thing because it looks cool when it's not colored. So really, you're going to love it when I show you some of the stuff I'm going to do tonight. And then these are cards that I made when we were down in, where was I? On stage. I don't know. I don't remember where I was. That's terrible. Vegas. Were we in Vegas? Yeah, I think we were in Vegas. Anyway, so this card in particular, I used Petunia Pop, Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie, all the In Colors. And I just stamped monochromatically. So I used Petunia Pop on Petunia Pop, Pretty in Pink on Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie on Peach Pie. And then this piece back here, this piece here, is just sponged or used the brush. And I put ink on it to kind of coordinate with the rectangles in the back. And then added embellishments of each color. That's a cute card. These are cards that Stampin' Up! Actually designed, and then we just made them. And this was actually supposed to be done with a different stamp set, but I thought it was cool, so I'd use this stamp set. We did some watercoloring, so you can use watercolors. This is another one that's watercolored. I never would have thought to put Pecan Pie and Petunia Pop together, but I like those. Again, this is watercolored. And actually, it's stamped with Pecan Pie and then watercolored. So the Pecan Pie kind of bled into it a little bit. And again, some more watercoloring. I did a lot of watercoloring down there. And then this one, we just stamped in black and then used a sponge dauber to put color onto it. So it's not perfect, but it looks great. All right, so we're going to use Spotlight on Nature. And, oh, I wanted to show you this because I got this embossing folder this week, and I knew it was huge, but you don't know how huge it really is till you put it next to a embossing folder. So this is the one that's called Spot On, I think. I just got it. And opened it today, but I wanted to show you when you're looking at some of the embossing folders, and I might even do something with them on my website so you have a sheet that has all the embossing folders. If they're a little bit more expensive than normal, it's because they're big. You can find the sizes online. All the information is online for all of the stuff that Stampin' Up! Has. You can always look at the products online, and it will tell you if what size they all are. All right. So we're going to learn about blends tonight. Remember, if you have questions, let me know. Linda, it's fine that you're late. You didn't miss much except me talking. However, if you want to see what I said at the beginning, you can always go back and watch the replay. All right, so I'm going to use Memento and just ink up this tulip. Stamp it down here. I'm going to really try tonight to stay in the camera view because I know that was one of the complaints that I got last time was, I think I did a lot of stuff down here. And the reason that happens is because my camera sits more in the middle of my countertop. And so there's quite a bit of 6 inches of gap before I actually hit the edge of this. And I forget. So I'm going to zoom in. That's the other thing is I zoom in and then I totally am out of camera. I'm going to zoom in so you can see me, see what I'm doing. Couple of tidbits before I get started. You can see I've got lots of colors out here of blends. I'm going to pull them up so you can see them. I actually have them kind of separated because I'll probably do a little bit more than just one thing colored. All right, so blends. Blends are our alcohol markers. They blend really easily. You get a color that doesn't have lines, like regular markers. Sometimes you have a line through it. This is so that you won't have lines. You just won't. One of the things you can do, yep, Mary Ellen just ordered this set last week. All right, you'll have fun with it because it looks great anyway. Colored in, not colored in, different colors. All right. So blends, what I have found is I do a lot of playing with blends just to play with them, to get used to them. And I think that that's number one, you need to start playing with them. And number two, you need to not be afraid of them. Do not be afraid of them. It's not as hard as you might be making it, is what I found. Sometimes when I color with my blends, I will just use one color, no blending, just the color, because I like how they color with no lines. And so that's one of the techniques I do. That one you probably don't really need a lot of help with. You just pick up a blend and you color. What I have found with my blends is I use the bullet point tip a lot more. That's the bullet point tip. A lot more than the brush tip, because I have a lot more control with the bullet point. Sometimes the brush tip for me, I press too hard and then I end up with ink outside the lines. However, if you do ink outside the lines, Stampin' Up! Sells a color lifter marker, and I'll show you how that works tonight too. So you can move color around if it's outside the lines. The other thing that I found is blends come in two different colors. So these are both Blackberry Bliss. I gotta make sure that they are, yeah. A dark and light. And if you use those two colors to blend and color with, your project's gonna look great. You want to step it up a little bit, bring in a different color. So bring in the color, this one is Light Berry Burst. So now I'm gonna color this flower with these three colors and you're gonna see the difference. But one of the things I want you to look at is in our catalogs, back here, we have a color wheel. And this color wheel, this is really a good 2-page spread, really. A lot of information on, I'm going to zoom out again, sorry. So there's a lot of great information on here. You can learn a lot just from this 2-page spread. Let me let my dog in. Sorry. I can't let that happen. Come on, Petra. Come on. All right, so there's a lot of information on here with this 2-page spread. You can do monochromatic, which is color on color, even though they're using two different colors, petal pink and calypso coral. You can do complementary, which are directly across from each other on the color wheel. Analogous, which uses colors next to each other. And that's kind of what I do with my blends. I do a lot of analogous colors, just to give it the three blended colors. And then triadic is using the colors in a triangle. It'll give you a lot. I mean, it really will change the way you pick your colors, do your cards, and they'll always look good. So for instance, sorry, I should have put it away so fast. On this, when I picked these colors, I wanted to do something in Blackberry Bliss, which is here. And I could have gone with Gorgeous Grape. I skipped over and did Berry Burst. So you don't have to go 3 in a row. It can just be 3 in this range or 3 in this range. And sometimes I bring it out so like I might go green, blue together. So it just gives you a little bit more depth to your coloring. So let me show you. Don't make it harder than it has to be. When I do it lots of different ways. Sometimes I lay down the lightest color first and then bring in the dark color. For this particular project, I found that if I brought in the dark color first, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to color with the dark Berry Bliss. And I'm just going to do, I don't want to do a whole lot of the whole thing because I want that color to stay wet. I want that first Berry Burst that I put down to still be wet when I bring in the second color because it blends better. And then I'm going to bring in my third color and just color in the white areas. And that doesn't necessarily mean I'm done with that. Let me bring it up to the light. I don't know, can you see that better? But because it's still wet, that ink is still going to move around until that totally dries. And they're alcohol, so it dries fairly quickly. Now, if you get lines that you don't like that are real harsh, you want your lines lighter, just go back in. So I'm coming back in with the light berry. No, I don't want to do light berry burst. Not yet. I want to do the light blackberry bliss because I see that right in here, those didn't blend so great. I'm just going to add a little bit more color. And then I can do a little bit more up here. Just a little bit. Now you don't want to get too much because otherwise what will happen is your thing will bleed right out. See how that blended in there? So if you get too much, you know, if you go over it and over and over and over it, pretty soon that ink is going to come outside your image. It is going to bleed through your cardstock, so this isn't too bad, really. Some of them get really bled through, but you don't have to. It doesn't have to take a lot of time, and you don't have to blend them for a long time. So the other thing that you can do is when you're laying down color, you can, like, if I took the dark Blackberry Bliss, once I laid it down once and then I laid it down again, so you get a double exposure of ink. It makes it darker. So, and again, you see, I'm just going to bring this in. I'm trying to stay in the lines, and so it's kind of different to color when I don't want to get my head in the camera. And then I'm just going to come back in with the light Blackberry Bliss and just blend that in a little bit more. And like I said, those colors will blend. They'll just keep blending till it's dry. And again, it probably seems like a lot of work to, you know, go in. I could probably do these two the same, but to go in and do such a small petal, but you will be happier with your blending if you're not adding too much, you're not doing too much coloring all at once. Because if I colored this whole flower with the dark Blackberry Bliss, when I came back in with the light Blackberry Bliss, that dark would be dry. And although I could get them to blend, because putting the other marker on top of that would wet it again, it would just takes a lot longer for it to blend in. I hope that makes sense. So there you go. So I use Blackberry Bliss on this one. So then again, you might come in with your greens. And on this one, I'm using, this is an interesting color combination. So light granny apple green, dark granny apple green, and lemon lime twist. So let's go to our color wheel. So we got granny apple green and lemon lime twist, which are next to each other. I could also bring in old olive if I chose to and use that. But, you know, with the dark and the light granny apple green and then the lemon lime twist, I have 3 colors. So I will get a good blend. And I'm going to start with my dark. And again, I'm just like putting some color down. So you see where I came up from the bottom and then down from the top. And I'm just going to do that with the light. And then I'm going to come in with lemon lime twist and just bring those together. And what you'll get is you'll get a blend. I don't know if you can see that, but you get a blend. So it kind of looks like the leaf is curved because the middle part is the highlight. Does that make sense to people? If you have questions, let me know. All right, so now I'm going to show you, I'm not going to color that whole thing because I have projects done. So like this is a piece, and you can see where I've colored my leaves and the Blackberry Bliss. So it just gives it a real highlight. I'm going to just show, so I'm going to come in now this time with early espresso. And the reason that I'm showing this is because I want you to think outside your box. We always use black ink. We're really good at always using black ink. But with blends, you can use any color ink. Any of our designer inks will work with the blends. Probably should have inked this up a little bit more. That's right, it'll still work. There. So you just get a different look because you have, it's not black behind it now. Now it's going to be espresso. So I'm going to come in, this time, I'm actually going to use 4 colors. So I'm going to use Daffodil Light and Dark and Light. I'm going to use Pumpkin Pie. And then I'm going to bring in Peach Pie. So again, let's pull up the color wheel. I hope this is helping you. So we got Daffodil Delight. And then we're skipping way over here. So we're bypassing crushed curry. We're bypassing wild wheat. Not that I could have used those, but I really wanted to go and make this really pops. And so I was using the daffodil and the pumpkin. And that's when I thought, oh, I'm going to try some peach pie and see what that looks like. And so that's where that came from. Jana has a question. I have a question about the color wheel. I'm going to sound dumb, but how do you choose colors that go together? One's across from each other or next to each other? Okay, Jana, so if you get out your catalog, and when we're done here, get out your catalog. And if you look on this page next to it. So monochromatic is choosing one color that you love and pairing it with shades and tints of the same color. So my favorite color right now is Lost Lagoon. So if I wanted to do a card that was monochromatic, that I wanted to make it look good, if I pulled a card together that used Lost Lagoon, Pretty in Pink, or Pretty Peacock, and Summer Splash, those 3 colors, that card would be cool. Because those colors, it'll be calming, and it'll just look good. So for a monochromatic card, you just want to pick a color and then pick the colors around it. I could even go as far as pulling in Lost Lagoon, Summer Splash, and Coastal Cabana. That's another one of my favorites. Does that make sense? So you pick a color that you like, that you want to start with, and then if you're going to make it monochromatic, which is just one tone, then bring the colors next to it or around, close to it. Now, when you do complementary colors on a color wheel, I would start with, if I were you, Janet, with this set here. And so anything that's directly across, so red and green will always look good together. So you could use all those greens and all those reds together as 2 colors, and they would look good together. And you could do that all the way around your wheel. So, blue, violet, go directly across, yellow, orange. So these colors are going to look good with these colors all the way around your wheel. So anything that's opposite of them on the color wheel is going to look good together. Analogous, again, is choose 3 colors that are side by side. So, I always look here, but what you need to do is you need to look here. So if you're going to do 3 colors that are together, so if I say yellow, green, 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 and blue, green, I could use any of those colors, any 3 of those colors, and it's going to look good together. I could use any 3 of those colors in here, in my little triangle here, and they will look good together. And go up here, do the same thing. Anything in that triangle. So I'm taking my triangle from here, from this section, and going out. And those will give you, it'll be awesome. I hope that makes sense. And then triadic is directly across. So again, triadic is blue, yellow, and red. So blue, yellow, and red. And if you put those colors together, they're going to look good. And then you just scooch around your color wheel. So yellow, orange, red, violet, and blue, green will look good. Does that make sense? Same thing here. Orange. Let's see. Move it 1. Yeah, orange, green, and violet. So I hope that makes sense. If you read this page and actually pull out your colors, look at them on here, I think it'll start to make more sense to you. Color theory, it takes a lot. It's a lot more than me just saying a couple words about it. But it's kind of fun. it will take your cards to a new level if you follow that. Although I personally feel like, and the reason that I love Stampin' Up! Is that I don't have to think a lot about color because I can use their inks and their papers and their ribbons and their cardstocks, and they're all going to look good because the colors match. So my markers are the same color as my cardstock, same color as my Designer Series paper. So I think, Jana, I think color wheel theory might be something that I take up totally at a different time, because that would be a whole class. All right, so on this one, I'm going to go ahead and color the butterfly. I stamped it with the early espresso, so any of our designers, any of our inks, classic inks colors will look, you can stamp and use the blend with, because this is water based and this is alcohol based, so they don't mix, it won't bleed. Good, I'm glad that helped, Jen. If you have any other questions, just let me know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, same concept. I'm going to use my darkest color, which is pumpkin pie, dark pumpkin pie. And color in that wing. And then my next darkest color, interestingly enough, is the peach. Is the peach pie. So I'll put a little bit of that in there. And then I'm going to come in with my next darkest, which is this daffodil. And then the next one is the light daffodil. And I'll just bring this one down. And you can see here, I'll show you this up close. You'll be able to see, I have definite lines. You can definitely see each color. So if I want to fix that a little bit, I see it really between the peach pie and the daffodil delight. And so I'll bring in my daffodil, my dark daffodil delight, and hit it again. And that leads it out. So then it starts to blend. And then bring back in some light daffodil delight. And that's how you color the butterfly. It truly is not hard. It's just a matter of letting yourself not get freaked out about it and just do it. Again, pumpkin pie, peach pie, dark daffodil delight. And you know, this particular image, Stampin' Up! Has some shading on it. So it already has marks, lines on there. So it kind of tells you where it needs to be a little bit darker. Well, good. I'm glad that, Marie, that was helpful for you too. Color, yeah, it is hard when you look at it and you think, well, what does that all mean? But all right, so now these leaves, I think I'm not going to use the orange this time. I'm just going to use the peach pie. So I'm going to come in with the peach pie, and then I'm going to come in with the dark daffodil delight. But you'll see that I do it every section because I want them to remain, oh, could have used that brush in, but I want them to remain individual parts of the wing. You know, I don't want to color the whole thing because then it all looks the same. We'll come here with, like I said, there's already lines to help you out on a lot of stamp sets. And a little bit of. Now this one I colored here, basically used the same colors, only I started with Poppy Parade. So I brought in and had, I don't think I used this one. I used yellow. Anyway, those are the colors that I used on this one. So adding in that poppy just gives it a little bit, you see where you start the red and then bring out the pumpkin. So this wing here, I'll do it in red and I'll show you. So take poppy and I'm just going to like add some. And again, like I said, a little bit, it's better to put a little bit of ink down because you can always add more. And then I'll go in with pumpkin. And what the heck, let's do a little peach pie because I like that color. And we'll end it with yellow. And I don't like my lines whatsoever, which you can see right there. So I'm going to come back in and just blend right over the top of that again. And that, it takes away that line and blends out the red. You can see where it starts to come through. So the more you use, the more it comes through on the cardstock. And that is not unusual. Just make sure that you have something down on your table, because I actually colored on my table and it went right through into the wood and hasn't wrecked it. But it's not something I'd want to do again. So I'm going to bring in a different stamp this time. And then I'm going to show you what cards that I made. So this is a stamp from Country Flowers. This one does not have any shading on it, and that's why I'm picking this one to show you, because I just want to give you another look. Again, I used espresso ink. You notice that this particular stamp doesn't have a whole lot of detail to it. It doesn't have any shading. Oh. Whenever I hit my lights, they dim. Anyway, it doesn't have a whole lot of shading. It doesn't have lines to follow much. It's just a, big open space. It's not that big, but I'm going to show you how I would color them. I think I'm going to come in. I'll come in with these three. And do this big flower. All right. So going back with dark Blackberry Bliss. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to do each petal separately. And I know that seems like kind of a lot. So I just add a little bit. And then the light. And then the burst. And because this is such a small image, I probably could have got away with doing more than one petal at a time. But again, I have lines. You can see them. They're very distinct. So I'm going to come back in with my light and blend them out one more time. And then that petal is done. And you get the shading. Oh, sorry. You can see the shading. So I'm just going to go ahead. Maybe this time I'll actually do. So I'm just flicking it. I could probably get away. This is a pretty small image. I'll probably get away with a little bit more. But you really want to do it when it's wet, when the ink is wet. I keep picking up the wrong one. And I don't want to sit too long in the same area because it will just bleed out under the cardstock. And then pretty soon you've got coloring outside the lines, which is not a terrible thing. But all right, so I do that. And then I come in and fill it all in with the berry burst. I can spend a lot of time coloring. It's relaxing to me, and I can do it while I'm watching TV. And so I just recommend that you just play with them and don't make them harder than they have to be. You don't want to overblend. You just want to, because you don't want to wreck your tips. You don't want to press hard. And now I'm just blending out that line from that darker one. But you can see it starts to give this flower some real dimension. Trying to see if you can see it there as it blends out. Okay, Jano says demonstrations of using the color wheel would make a great class. I am going to work on it. Probably not going to happen overnight because I want to give good information. just because you want good information. So I want to make it easy to use, easier to use. So there's that. All right. So let me show you a couple of cards here. I didn't want to spend the whole night just coloring in front of you. So I'm going to pull out this card. Yeah, this is beautiful. Look at this card. So this is just the same technique. I used pumpkin pie, peach pie, daffodil delight. I used the granny green and lemon lime, and I did the same with this butterfly. Only you'll see on my butterfly in this one, I just used yellow in the wings here, daffodil delight and light and dark. And then I pulled in pumpkin pie and peach pie and daffodil delight in the outer wing. So one of the things I want to show tonight is showing a little texture. So on this particular card, I just used half a sheet of 8.5 by 11 basic white. Folded that in half to make a card base. And then I took the leaf stamp with the Sahara sand. Oh, it's not Sahara sand. The beige. It's going to be hard to get these names down. Basic beige ink. And I just stamped that leaf around the back of that because I wanted to just give it some kind of, I didn't want it to be plain. I wanted to give it some texture. And then I cut out a circle die. And I cut out the circle die first. And then I put it through the embossing folder. So I don't know if you can see it, but this is embossed. So it's just one of the circle dies that came with this particular set. I colored the image and I cut it out. I know, right? I will tell you that I am lucky enough to own a scan and cut. And so I just stamped a whole sheet of these and cut them out with that. And it didn't cut out everything, but it cut out enough so that I just had to go in and cut out a few more. And it makes it look like I worked really hard. So stamped a thank you in memento and added a couple embellishments and the dimensionals. Very simple card. The coloring is the hardest part, but it's beautiful. All right, so then I took another set that I made. This was with Poppy Parade, Pumpkin Pie, and the Daffodil Delight, dark and light, and the same greens. So this is two of those dies that I showed you in that set. This is them layered. And then attached to another layer that I embossed because I'm really into embossing cardstock right now. This is the Sahara sand. No, it's not. It's the basic beige. Ah! So it's the basic beige cardstock and ink. New colors from Stampin' Up. Hey, Jean. Yeah, it's been raining here for a couple days. Raining and snowing for a couple days. So welcome from Maine. Maine is on my bucket list. I need to get out there one of these days. All right, so the last card that I did is probably the most work, but it's beautiful. I love this card. I absolutely love this card. In fact, I might have to put it in a frame. No, I'll send it to somebody. So basically what I did here is I used Blackberry Bliss half sheet of cardstock. Look, I even colored the inside. Blackberry Bliss, light and dark, and Petunia Pop. Those are the colors I used here. I used the same colors on the butterfly, Pumpkin Pie, Peach Pie, Daffodil Delight. So on this one, I embossed a piece of cardstock, basic beige, and with the bricks. I don't know if you can see those. I did take a brush to this one and brushed over it to make those bricks stand out a little bit more. I was kind of being stingy, I guess, with the brushing because I didn't want it too dark. So it just gave it just a little bit of dimension. Now the dies, I cut out a circle die, and then inside here I cut out a circle die, and then I cut out one of these and I attached it. So this has Blackberry Bliss cardstock coming through on those little dots. It just seemed like the thing to do. Cut out. I did the leaves too. I colored a set of leaves and I cut them out, and I actually cut them apart and then layered them in behind there. So it's basically the same card, just three different looks for it. And as you can see, I kind of went basic, a little bit more to over the top. This one has embellishments. This one has embellishments too, but then it also has a linen thread bow that I doubled up, and I'm not sure I care for it. But so I will tell you that tonight, I've put up on my Facebook or my blog pictures of these cards and the tutorials, PDF printable tutorials for you. Give you all the measurements, everything that I used. So they're on my blog, www.DDStamps.com. I would recommend that you sneak over there at some point. It'll be there forever. But it's there if you have any, if you want to know exactly what I used and what colors I used. I hope that helped. Don't make the blends harder than they need to be. Play with them. Start out with one color and then add another color in, and so, so on. Does anybody have any questions? I see somebody gave me a thumbs down. I'm not going to be sad about it. It is what it is. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Thanks. I should put those back. Oh no, it's. I hope I didn't forget anything. I was trying to be so prepared tonight and make sure I had everything ready to go. I will be on again next Thursday. Maybe even Color Wheel. Petra. That's enough. If thanks, Rhonda. I will be on next Thursday. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I have some. Yes. Sylvia, it's not that I make it. It's not hard. I mean, I think we have a tendency to make things harder than they have to be. So it's just get over that hump and play with them. Play with them. Take out a sheet of a basic white, stamp a bunch of images, and just sit down and start playing with them. With whatever colors you have, and see how it works. But I do find that using 3 shades is good. Can always bring in 4, depending on if you have a bigger image. 4 is good too. Cool, Jean. I hope you enjoy it. This is a good set. This was a lot of fun. I have some more stuff coming from Stampin' Up. That I placed an order while I was down in Mexico, so that I could have some stuff to play with. If you haven't already done so, you want to sign up for my newsletter, because that's where I send out a lot of information. And like I said, I'm going to try and start teaching more classes online. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to continue with these Thursday nights as long as I'm home. And so I will see you Thursday night. And if you can't make it, you can always watch the replay. It's on YouTube, and it'll be on my blog. You can sign up for my newsletter on my blog. I think I got it all. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the catalog. A lot of people either love it or hate it. Personally, I love it. I think it's very inspiring. I think there's a lot of information in there. It's not just a look at it one time. It's kind of a reader. I spend a lot of time looking at stuff and reading. So thanks, Linda. I'll be using the blends a lot more in these things, in these Thursday night things too. So because I love them. I use them all the time. If you have any techniques that you want to learn or need information about a certain product, I know I had somebody ask me to do something on brayers, and I have that on my list of things to do. I haven't used the brayer for a long time. I have one. Just haven't used it for a long time, and so I need to. I know you can use it to ink up embossing folders so that the ink is even. You can use it to blend on cardstock. I just got to play with it. All right, so if nobody has any questions, don't forget, if you place an order, you'll get that tutorial with the card packet for Adventurous Skies. That's this month. And if you ordered in April, your In Color packets are coming. Probably Monday, if I get them this weekend. Yeah, if you want like I said, Connie, are you talking about Designer Series paper? I'm gonna post that up on my blog where you can go and you can print off a PDF and tuck it in your catalog so you'll have all the designer series papers together. Each time I look at Karen says, each time I look at the new catalog, I like it more and more. Yep. Getting used to the new layout. Yeah, it is something you got to get used to. It was like shocking when we received them. Um, but it's the more that you look at it, the more you find to look at and learn from. And so there's a lot in there to learn from. All right, Marie, I love your videos, Sam, because you explain the technique so well that I can understand them. I learn better by watching than reading instructions, so thank you. You're welcome. Marie, anytime you want have a question or need some help with something, let me know. I'm always looking for ideas for things to share with people. So not everybody would tell you that I'm a good explainer of things. Sometimes my words get jumbled and but I just do what I do and hopefully it comes across and it helps. So that's what I'm here for. Anyway, I hope you all have a great weekend. I'm looking forward to sunshine. Yay, I'm probably finally gonna get to mow my lawn. Which I kind of like doing till the end of summer and then I'm tired of it, but it's better than shoveling snow. So have a great night and I will speak to you all soon. Thanks. I don't know how to end it.